from customers C inner join orders O on C dot customer ID is equal to O dot customer ID. Right? This is the basic join that we have to do. Now comes the second part of the question, which says total freight cost greater than the average. Okay, so for those orders where the customer has paid more than what he usually pays for, मतलब जहां पे उसने पेमेंट जो किया है that is more than his own average. So where O dot price is greater than, and यहाँ पर we will open the subquery bracket. Here we will write a correlated subquery that will select the average of O2 dot treat. Right, I've created a copy of the orders table and I've named it O2 from orders O2, and where the condition is that O2 का जो customer ID है, O2 dot customer ID should be equal to O dot customer ID. मतलब the subquery where we are finding the average should have the same customer ID as the outer query where we are getting the name and other details of the customer. So let me run this and I think we should get the value. So usually we are getting we are getting 830 values, but when we execute this, we will get 301. Okay, so these 301 orders are the one where the customer has paid more than what he pays at average. So this was a quick revision about subquery and a correlated subquery. So ये question भी मैं copy paste कर देता हूँ. For those who want to try, can try later on also. Now I think we can move forward with what we call views.
So just can you please explain one more time the solution of this question?
This query?
Yeah.
Okay, sure. So till joins it is clear, right? यहाँ तक तो clear होगा.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, so we combined the customer and orders table because customer ID, company name, customer table से order ID and freight, that is the amount he is paying for the order from the orders table. ठीक है, ये दो तो हो गए. Now in the subquery, first of all, question says कि if I have, let us say, I have paid 5 orders. ठीक है, 5 में से कभी मैंने पेमेंट किया 5 rupees, then 10 rupees, 12 rupees, 20 rupees, 7 rupees. So out of these, which ones I have paid more than my average? So let us say these two. These two I have paid more than my average what I pay, but only for me, not for the whole customers, just for me. So that is what we need to find. So what we do, we say where O dot freight, which is the orders table, the orders table in the outer query, O2 is the orders table in the inner query, right? Because correlated subquery, we have to create the copy to compare the customer ID. So we say where O dot freight, where freight cost is greater than the average freight cost, but here it is O2 dot freight. Why? Because we will compare. The average freight has to be calculated for the customer which has been selected. So we will select the first customer, Alfred, right? We will compare his customer ID and then only we will select his orders. So what the subquery says is select average O2 dot freight from O2 where O2 dot customer ID, that is inner customer ID, is equal to O dot customer ID, that is the customer ID that is there in the outer query. So this part correlates the inner subquery to the outer subquery. Okay, is it clear now?
Yeah, it's clear. Thank you.
Okay, great. So okay, take 2 more minutes, just copy paste, try to run this, and then we will start with views. Okay. or take a 2-minute break, take a sip of water, and we will start with a new topic.
Saurabh, can I share my screen? It's throwing some error.
Yeah, sure. Let me stop mine. Yes, you can share now. Okay. So you did not use the alias in the customer. So you have written C dot customer ID, C dot company name. But
Hmm.
when you're writing from customers now, you have to mention from customers C, like you have done with
Okay,
orders, right? Orders O you have written, so you have to similarly write from customers C.
okay. Yeah,
हाँ,
here,
सेकेंड लाइन
right?
इसके बाद लिखना है आपको, पहले नहीं बाद में लिखना है। नो 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 नो, जैसे नीचे लिखा है ना ऑर्डर स्पेस ओ, वैसे यहाँ पर आएगा कस्टमर स्पेस सी। लेट मी,
Second line or third line?
सेकेंड लाइन आफ्टर कस्टमर्स यू हैव टू राइट स्पेस सी।
See.
यस, जस्ट राइट सी। ऐसे जैसे नीचे इनर जॉइन ऑर्डर्स के बाद ओ लिखा है ना स्पेस देके, वैसे यहाँ पर
Okay,
कस्टमर्स के बाद स्पेस देके सी। I
taking
think
some
it is
time.
executing. It takes some time in your system. Your server is slightly slow.
Okay, okay, time. Thank you.
Okay.
Saurabh, I think you are on mute if you're saying something.
No, I'm just waiting for a minute or so to start. Okay, so I think now we are good to start with views, right? And the view, as you can see with the name, you can only view it, right? You can not do anything, just view it. So that is what the idea is. Views are virtual table. Okay. So if you are still writing the queries, if you are in the practice, you can just leave it for the time being. I will share the file. Also, you can go through the recordings or you can practice it later also. But for now, let us try to understand the new concept here. Right. So we would be doing views, indexes, and CTEs today. CTEs are slightly more important. It might take some time for you to understand. Where they are basic only. Views are important. Indexes are also important, but from the practical purposes, CTE would be most important, followed by views, and indexes least important in the lecture today. So starting with views, virtual table based on the result set of a SQL query does not actually store the data. Instead, it dynamically fetches the data from the underlying table each time the views exist. So let me tell you what is happening here. Let us say I have this customers table, right? I have this customers table. Select star from customers. Right? This is my customer table. Now you will see this is an actual table stored in a database that takes some memory, right? These are actual values stored in a data set that takes memory. It has columns, it has everything. But what a view does is, I will write a query. Let us say this. This is my query, and this is my result set. Thing that you are seeing here is a result set. Right? This is my result set. Something like this. So what I can do, I can save this result set as a view, and it will not take any space. It will not take any memory. It will just store, it gets stored in the form of a view. So what basically happens is this query is stored. Every time I will call a view, this thing would be displayed. Okay. And if you will go through the Northwind dataset, you will see in the databases where we have Northwind, we actually have tables, right? So these are our tables, and we actually have a lot of views also. Let me actually create one and show you how it works. So we have this sales summary and product details. Okay, right. So let me create a view here for you guys and show you how it actually works. So view. Okay, till now just remember it is a virtual table which fetches data dynamically every time you will use the view, right? It does not take memory by default. So what I can write create view sales summary as, just like we do create table, create database, we write create view. Name of the view as is how we will create it. Uske baad we just have to write a select statement. So let us say I want to select product ID comma sum of quantity as total quantity from order details, and I group it by product ID. ठीक है, अभी के लिए ये भूल जाओ that we are creating a view. Just look at the select statement. Right, this is a basic select statement. Right, this is a basic select statement where I have used an aggregated function, used a group by, and this is what I get. What I get is an invalid column because I did not selected the whole, but this is what I get. Right, so this is a basic output. Now if you want to check that what is the total quantity for product 52, for 64, for 38, what do? You rewrite this again, and then you use a having greater than or this or that. To overcome such kind of thing, I can save this thing, I can save this small thing as a view. So what will happen, this will get stored as a particular table, right? So let us go back. So I write create view sales summary as, then I will write this whole select statement, whatever I want to say, and I execute this, and there is a already same view with the name. So I will just drop the view that is already there. So I will write drop view sales summary, right? Drop से exactly जैसे database होता है. Okay, it is a procedure, not a view. We have to right. So जैसे हमारा कोई we have to drop a database, drop a table, same we have to write drop view sales summary. Now when I will run this, it will create the view, right? It will create the view, and if you want to now, let us say, select anything, I will just write select star from sales underscore summary. Now when I run this, I will get the exact values जो यहाँ पर ये पूरा रन करने के बाद मुझे मिल रही थी, right? So in this practice, what you understood, we can select any result set as a view, that is virtual table, it will not take any memory. But every time I run this in the background, actually what is happening? This query is running and then I'm getting the data. I can even use a where clause here, where total quantity is greater than 500. See, only those where total. Then I can also use a order by total quantity descending. See, highest to lowest. So this is the basic idea behind the view. Now, did you understand what a view is and how to create?
So what is the means actual location of that view? For example, we created that view and I'm sharing it with anyone. So do I have to share the means code or I can share IP or something?
Okay, so I will answer that question, and Lokesh is asking what is the use of view. So we will understand both of them. First of all, it is stored in the database itself. So we imported this database, right? In every database you see, we have tables and we have views. So here you can see all of them are stored. So when you will share the access to the database to someone, or you give them, we have the data definition language, manipulation, data control language. So if you give access to someone, you can give access to views also, just like you do with tables. So the syntax and everything is similar to tables only. You can write select star from sales summary. You can even perform joins. You can perform where clause, order by, everything just as you do in the table. Okay, and if you see, we haven't created any views in other, like this is the joins database, right? So we created this database. We created 3 tables, I think 5 tables, right? Sales, table A, table B, but we did not create any view. If we want to, we can. If you want to create any view in this, let us say you write a query, like let us say this query I have written here, right? This query I have written here. Now, every time I want to see something from this query, I will have to run this entire query again and again and again. So to overcome that, I can just save this as a view, and जब भी मुझे ये चाहिए होगा, I will just write select star from view, और view का जो भी नाम होगा, like v1, v2, abcdfg, so you can give any name. Is this like create a dummy table with selected column or whole table without occupying the memory? You can do both of them. You can do both of them. Either you can create a dummy table, but whole table without occupying the memory does not make any sense, because this table in your database, actual table will take memory. Okay, these tables will take memory, and your view would be something from this table only. There is no separate data in the view. Either it is from the customers table or it is from the orders table, या फिर मैंने join करके कुछ data extract करके I named it as a view. But to save this exact same table as a view will not make any sense. Right. So that is what view is. We can save this whole output as a virtual table, which by default will not take any memory. Now, what is the advantage? See, first of all, let us say I don't have to write this again and again if I want to, get something from 2 different tables. So I will have to do a join, like यहाँ पे था. So I have to do this join, then I can perform this subquery. So this thing I can save as a view, and फिर I can directly perform where clause, subquery, whatever I want from that view. Right. Second thing that is a very important part of views is that I think we have use of views. Yes. So simplifying the query, okay, restricting data access, right? So let us say I am here in my company. I have this whole database, and you are my data analyst. So I have data of everything in my database. It has customers data, finance data, sales data, product data, and I want you to analyze the sales data. Now, I don't want to, even in the sales data, we have customer ID, customer name. I don't want to give you the access of the whole database or of the whole table. Right. Let us say I have this employee table. ठीक है, employee table में क्या क्या हो सकता है in a real world scenario? What kind of columns would you see in employee table? Employee ID, right? Department,
Demographic details.
demographic, city, etc., age, mobile number, email, then department. Okay, a lot of data could be there. Now you as an analyst have to you have to analyze my employees, like how much salary I'm paying them, what age they are of, this and that. But I don't want to give you the number and email of my employees, right? Even I don't want to give you the name also, because that is not related to your analysis. What you are supposed to analyze, how much salary I'm paying, what is the average salary, who are getting more salary, what department I'm spending most of, this and that. So personal details like name, number, and email, I don't want you to know. So what I will do, I will write select department, demography, salary, whatever columns I want to give you the access of, I will create a view, like view employee. I will only select those columns that I want you to know. And instead of giving the access to the database or to the actual table, I will give you access to the view. One more advantage of this is that by mistake, if you update something, if you delete something, that is not your job. You are there to analyze the data. So you should not delete something, you should not drop the table. So to avoid the risk, I will just give you access to the view, which is just a virtual table, which will fetch data from the actual table, but you will not you will not get the number and email of my employees. So I can restrict the data as the owner of the company or as the database administrator of what I want you to know, right? So that is another very good usage. Enhancing performance, so index view, we will understand how it can make it faster, right? So simplifying complex queries, if we are using joins to create something, we don't have to use the join again and again. We can just save that in a view. Restricting data access, non-confidential employee details to the HR team, right? So if I have to share details to the HR team, also I can not share each and every detail. Even if banks are sharing their sales or transaction data, they can avoid. What if I will drop the original table? Then view will exist or it will also drop? View will exist, but I think it will show you an error when you will fetch something, or it might give you empty values. I think it could drop if you don't have the table. So it depends on the type of database you are using.
Yeah, because we are creating the view on the basis of the table. If table will drop, then I think view will
It
also
does
drop.
not make any sense. Like if the
Yeah,
table is dropped, your view, even if it is stored there, it is like not of any use. Data
any
delete
use,
ho
yeah.
gaya, it is just using that too, unless it is a
Okay.
materialized view, and we will understand what is a materialized view. Okay. And fourth is data transformation. Views can be used to create transformation or format data. Like in the case where you have seen, I use like employee name. So what I do first name plus last name every time I'm writing a query. So what I can do, I can just create a view where I can just write full name and I can save that as a view ताकि मुझे बार बार वो प्लस करके ना करना पड़े. Like in the select star from employee, employees table में you will see that we have the first name and the last name and the title of courtesy and the birth date and the hire date. So what I can do, I can transform the data. I can combine this and I can write this as full name. Instead of birth date, I can get the age value. And after writing that, select last name plus first name as full name and select age as this and this, I can save this whole as a view so that I can fetch the data according to what I want to. So these are basic usage of views, and a lot of times as a data analyst, you might only get the access to the views because you cannot delete the original data and you cannot play with the data. There is a risk, right? So that was about what views basically are, and you understand why they do not take any space, right? Because they are not actually having the data. They are using a query to fetch the data every time you are running the view. Okay, so every time I'm doing a select star from sales.
Means In view, we are saving our queries, right?
Yes, we are saving our queries in form of virtual table.
Yes, sir.
Actually, not actual queries, but the result set of the queries. Just remember this thing, the result set of the queries, because you will see similar things in CTE and stored procedure, right? So these are two different concepts, but there also we are saving or using the same idea of not using the query again and again, right? So these are two different concepts, but you might get confused. So view, virtual table, saving the result set of a query, not the query itself, but the result set of the query, right? So we are running this query again and again, but what we are fetching is the result set. Okay, now moving forward with something called as materialized view. And what materialized view does, that it stores the result physically on the disk, so it takes memory. What it does is, like, this is a view which is a virtual table, and it will fetch the data from the query. Materialized view will just download this data and save it in your system or in your database as a materialized view. So it will take the memory. What is the advantage of this? It would be faster to execute.
Even table deleted, it will not impact.
Yes, and the disadvantage,
It will take memory.
it will take memory, and
Yeah.
you will have to update
So,
it periodically. Let us say there is 5 new products in my product table, right? Now in this case, it will automatically fetch data from the product table. Every time I will run, it will be there. But because I have downloaded the data in a materialized view, I will have to update it daily or monthly, so that these values that I have downloaded gets updated from time to time, right? Because it is downloaded at a stage. So to make sure, it is just like, if you are watching something on Netflix, so let us say season 5 is coming, it would be directly available to you. But if you have downloaded 4 seasons and then season 5 has come, so you have to download season 5 before you can watch it, right? So that is the case with materialized view. You have to periodically update materialized views.
how to write materialized view?
Just instead of view, you can write materialized view. Just use the word materialized, and that is all. But that is not the case with SQL Server. That is the case in general with SQL. So materialized view is a concept that is mostly there in MySQL and Postgres SQL, or other SQL based database like SQLite and other things. But SQL Server does not support materialized views directly, right? SQL Server, which we are using, does not support materialized views directly. What we can do instead, we can create a view with indexes, and then it can store it. So we will understand what is an index and how we can create a materialized view in SQL Server, right? But in general, you just need to, instead of view, write materialized view, and that is all. So remember this thing and you would be good to go. ठीक है, यहाँ पर when we will understand how to write, how to use index to create a materialized view, just go through the syntax, but do not practice it much, because first of all, it is specific to SQL Server. Second, there is very rare chance that someone will ask you to write. Maybe in the interview, someone can ask you what is the difference between views and materialized view. Someone can ask you, does SQL Server support? No, it does not directly support, but we can use index view. And how does it works? That is all. Do not, like here it is shown how to create a materialized view, this schema binding thing. So just एक बार देख लेना इसको इंटरव्यू पर्पस से, बट इसको बहुत ज्यादा प्रैक्टिस करना इज नॉट योर प्रायोरिटी. ठीक है. So now we have done views and materialized view, and SQL Server does not support them, but it support index views. So let us start with our new topic, indexes. But before that, एक बार views पर create this view, solve this question, and let me remove this. In the same view, what you have to do is select, I will write, you have to write a query to view where quantity is greater than 100 in ascending order. Okay, so solve this question, create this view, and then we will move forward with indexes. Okay.